They didn't fill out a request for a gift card. They didn't fill out a request for a new car. They filled out a request because they wanted more information on protecting their family for final expenses or end-of-life planning. Right. They're not saying I don't need coverage. They're not saying I don't love my family. They're not saying any of that.
Right.
They're not saying any of that. So I can't assume when they say I thought it was free means I don't want insurance. I don't need it. I'm already protected. My family's taken care of if I pass away. Like an agent makes the mistake and assuming all of that is answering yes in that, and it's not.
Hey, fam. Welcome back to another episode of Life Insurance.
You're laughing because you've never said it that way.
Never said it.
Ever.
What's up, kids? What's up, peeps?
Wow.
Is that what the kids say? Welcome back to another episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. I'm sitting here with the Grand Poobahs.
You just gave me a random thought, by the way.
Zach McElwain and Roger
Our opens
Short.
are always random.
Roger Short, Esquire.
I bet Chris was phenomenal at the roller skating rinks up in Michigan. I mean, I could just backwards and everything. Hips don't lie.
Dude, white pants.
He was in the roller derbies, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Dude,
Elbow pad.
listen, was it couple skate?
Bell bottoms.
Did you guys ever do couple skate? When
Bell
you did
bottoms.
that? You did couple skate?
Chris, I would love to see you in a pair of bell bottoms.
I can make it happen.
And a striped turtleneck shirt with big wide bands of color across this way.
Yes.
With long hair and bangs.
Mustache only.
I don't see that.
70s.
70s
You know the
Chris?
bangs. Yeah,
I
the
can show
70s
up
Chris.
that way.
Wow.
Roller derbies. Doing the crisscross.
We just... I want to keep going with this.
Good.
So,
All right.
Did you couple skate?
We didn't have a roller rink
Dude,
in my little town.
There was always a moment where you're like...
We talked about
it's
your
couple
experiences
skating,
as a
and you're
child
like-
and mine, and I think they were very different.
Yeah, nobody...
Yeah.
None of the girls... My hands were so sweaty. It was awful.
We didn't
It
have
was
roller
awful.
skates in my
You would
town
hold
or a
hands
roller
and
rink.
couple skate.
When you fall down, they bring a towel
You're
out
like,
to the...
You're hoping that girl is available and you can couple skate to Journey
To
together.
Journey. We did that at ice skating.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And we had
But
gloves
you had
on
mittens,
usually.
though, right?
Gloves and mittens,
like,
but
my
at least it
hands
was
were
a
just
start.
I bet you gave him the eye, didn't you, Chris?
So awful. It was awful. Did you guys couple skate? Would love to know.
What does this have to do with objections?
Right. So we're talking about objections. Welcome to Life
Did you get
Insurance Academy
rejected with
podcast.
those couple skates?
That's where I got started in sales, right? So welcome back, guys. We are talking about objections, and we are talking about one that typically happens on the very front side, and it can shut you down. And it is specifically, in most cases, in the final expense conversation. So if you're looking in final expense, you're getting started, you're doing this, you've experienced it, we're here to help you. So this is the objection. You guys ready for it?
Senior market life insurance sales. Final expense. Yeah,
Okay.
this is where it is.
Is there a different market?
I don't know. I mean,
Is there children?
I think
pet
I think
final
Adam
expense?
said
I don't think you said it right.
Senior
think-
pet final expense
I
coverage.
think Adam said that, he started out he was in the business for 2 weeks. By
Right.
the way, Adam was in the business for 2 weeks.
Congratulations,
Adam, you get your 2-week certificate for
We've got a
succeeding for
trophy
2
for you.
weeks.
Full
Let's-
disclosure, he did not find Life Insurance Academy, but he is probably the most well-trained
Yes.
Life
He
Insurance
knows
Academy
He
person
said had he
now.
started here, things would have been different. But he got into the business. He lasted 2 weeks. And the pitch was, we get into people's homes by offering them free accidental life insurance. And then we pivot.
Right.
It's a bait and switch. And then we move into the selling them $100 a month.
Right. So
Or they filled out a lead,
yes,
final expense lead.
yeah. Whether it's online, direct mail, however,
Supplement your government benefit of $255.
yeah, and maybe an unclear lead. But guys, I've had this from very clear final expense, a certain amount benefit, where people would say, "I thought it was free."
I thought it was
That's
free.
what we're talking about. I thought it was free.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, we alluded to it just a little bit, but I think that a good place to start before we jump into this, because a lot of our objection handling comes from a principled sales process that we're working through, and it addresses all the objections. This one is kind of unique because it's kind of like a major smoke screen where they have all control, it feels like, in this moment, right? So I would like to know, why in the heck would they say that? Why are they saying that?
Up at near the front?
Yes.
Because they're not saying it at the back.
No.
They get this at the front.
Yes,
Have you ever heard this objection?
You typically get it at the very initial contact, or whenever you begin and you're probably a few minutes into building trust or sitting down with them.
Right.
But that's
They go, is this a cost? I didn't realize.
Now, if you get it later on, like there's an issue in your presentation for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think a lot of people are missing opportunities because they're getting that objection.
Because the clients say, well, I thought this was free.
Right. So they're shut down. Like, well, obviously it's not. Or they'll say something like this is the most common objection or the most common response. Yeah. Well, there ain't nothing in life free.
I know. That goes nowhere.
Yeah.
You might as well just hang up on them.
Yeah. Click. Next.
You might as well just hang up on them.
Yes.
You're right. Click.
You're right. That's the new how you handle objections. You're right. And then hang up.
And hang up. And next. Right. Just work more leads.
So
that's the answer.
Let's talk through, I think, help our agent friends out there. Why is this happening? Why are they saying that?
I think initially people they have their guard up, different reasons, different financial situations in their life. They could have been taken advantage of. They may not have understand how things work. They probably didn't read things all the way through. So a lot of it is a defensive mechanism, not necessarily that they can't afford it. It's just the same thing was when you're at the door or on the, I can't afford it. Like they don't even have an idea how much it is. It could be 2 cents a day, but they can't tell you that. So it's bogus.
It's a big smoke screen.
I'm not selling the 2 cent a day policy, by the way, typically.
Is that what you say to them?
Yeah. No, I'm telling you.
These ain't no 2 cents a day.
You never wrote a kid's app before?
Yeah. You wouldn't want it if it was free. That's what I tell them. That's probably true, honestly. You could probably get away with that. But you're right. There are these, there's 1,000 reasons. And one of them could be, I don't want to be sold something. That's probably the first one. The other one could be a misunderstanding of the information. The most common one that I find is they had a preconceived notion of it, of the cost. But they aren't going to tell you that preconceived notion.
Let me ask both of you. Do you think they're actually believing their own statement, or they have truth in their statement when they said, I thought this was free?
No, that's what I'm trying to get to.
What do you think it is?
Are
they lying to you? Is that a lie?
Yeah, it's a lie.
But what are they actually saying?
What would we call it? A bias?
A bias? Yeah.
I don't know.
They're trying to do a hard stop.
Yes.
Because they don't want to be sold.
And it's the master one.
And they don't have any value point yet, right?
Yeah.
Do you think they're telling you the truth? I thought it was free.
No. I don't think it matters. I don't care. So I never really thought about it, honestly. Like it didn't.
But the new agent doesn't know.
Yeah.
The new agent goes,
correct.
Oh, well, let me tell you how these work. They're really affordable.
Right.
And they don't know what to do with it.
And the reason, I think,
because they don't understand what the client is actually saying.
Yes.
I think the reason behind that is, Roger, is the agent's looking to make a sale. They're looking to make a commission. They're looking to get on a leaderboard. They don't understand that that's a byproduct after you put the client first and actually serve and understand your market and what your purpose is to be there. I think there's a disconnect there because when an agent in their mind is thinking transactional, is thinking commission, is thinking I need this money or fast money, look at life insurance and all of these things, and they don't have a good perspective of it, when a client tells you that, they're going to believe it because all they're doing is thinking about money.
So it's like a preconditioned bias
from the agent,
and the person not wanting to be sold. It's
yeah.
I remember when I first started selling advertising. Okay, prior to the insurance business, and I went out with this guy Mike, and Mike had he was an old dude, drove this old car Malibu. He had to lift the doors to shut them because they dropped because they got so heavy. Yes. It was a 2-door Malibu back in the day with a vinyl roof. It was yellow color. Yeah. And you got in it, and it smelled like smoke. The entire car smelled like smoke. And he would roll down the window, his arm out. He had the old tweed jackets with the patches.
Wow!
I know they're back and they're popular now, but back then when he was wearing them, they were not. They were as far from popular as as anything. And he had like this product in his hair, was slicked back,
wow.
and smoking. Like, have I described this guy well?
Yes.
And we went out and he sold like a $23,000 advertising package that afternoon. And he collected like $8,000 as a deposit, like 1/3 of it almost. Like and I was just shocked. I was like, he just sold $23,000 and I was struggling to make 50 for the year, And I'm like, this guy just sold in one appointment. Like, it was blowing my mind that a client would pay and commit to $27,000 or whatever it was. In one meeting, we were only there an hour, and the guy wrote him a check for $8,000. And my bias was, that's 6 months of earnings for me. So I had a bias that they would never buy that because it was too much. Yeah. So my own bias was a shield, was like a block.
Right.
And I had to get over it.
Right.
I did that for like 2 weeks, and I was in this shock culture of what people were committing to as businesses. And
so then you bought the jacket, and you started smoking the hair product.
Exactly. But
which one's going to work for you, Mrs. Jones?
As a new agent who needs to make money now, they see it as transactional. Yeah. So when the client says, "Oh, I thought this was free," now they're like trying to rebut it from that position, and it's a preconditioned bias that we have, and it hurts us.
Right.
But when a genuine agent, like I think, like we've got so many that work with us. I could think of so many beautiful souls who just want to do good in the world. Even sometimes when they get, "Well, I thought this was free," it's almost jarring to them. Mm-hmm. What's the response?
Well, and I thought, maybe our clients are getting training videos. Do you want to end all salespeople's careers? Our seven course video series will teach you how to stop them in their tracks.
I got the best tip about that. By the way,
then they call in and then they say, "Is it free?" What's your tip?
You walk into any store like a Costco or Sam's Club, and you always got the people up front by the TVs trying to get you that package, and come Direct TV or whoever it is inside or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, perfect, I already have you guys. Oh, perfect. They'd shut it off immediately instead of chasing you down the aisle.
Exactly.
You just agree with them, tell them that's what you got.
It's done.
So that also goes to an objection, which I'm sure we'll get to, is already have coverage, right?
Right.
Like it's that same aspect. But
those what do you say? What do you say? So, I thought it was free.
Yes. So
let's get to it.
We'll say at the door side, Mrs. Jones, I'm guessing you were checking into this because you care about your family. I'm going to go get your stuff. I'll be right back. I mean, it's that simple as far as, or go get your information.
That's as easy as it is, Chris?
I don't think it has to be that much harder. Now,
a person who doesn't have the confidence to do that, they're going to struggle there.
Right.
I'm going to call BS on that for most new people.
Okay. I'm saying at the very front, if this is at the door, that you have to have a confident piece.
So you're door knocking a lead. There's no preset appointment.
Yeah. Now, if it's a phone, then it's something different because I'm already kind of... It's not a door situation where I have to sit down with this person. So on the phone, I'm going to say, Mrs. Jones, if it were free, if it was a free benefit of, let's say, $5,000 or $10,000, who would you want to receive that benefit?
So is it free?
And why? I've never gotten that, Roger.
I'm asking you. So is it free? I'm Mrs. Jones.
Right,
is it free?
No, it's not free, Mrs. Jones. But if it were free, if it was a free benefit, who would receive that benefit and what would you want them to do with it?
So you're still trying to get to that answer.
That's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Because for me, this is my bias on this, is they filled it out for a reason. They filled it out. There's a different bias. I believe there's a need that needs to be discovered. And I'm going to work towards that need. So, Mrs. Jones, I want to make sure you get the information that you requested. What you do with it's completely up to you. But I know at some point you were thinking about somebody you care about. And if there were, let's say it's a $5,000 benefit and it were free, who would you want to receive it? And what would you want them to do with it? And I'm just lowering my tone so I can have a conversation so she doesn't feel like I'm a salesperson.
Are you saying all that at the door?
No,
I'm not
that was on the phone. That was on the phone, right?
Okay.
That's on the phone. At the door, that's what I'm saying. I'm guessing you were thinking about somebody, you care about somebody. And
it's just my job to get you the information.
Yeah, it's my job to get you the information. I'm going to go get it for you. I'll be right back.
What you do with it is up to you.
Yeah. So I come back and I sit down, and then I can ask that question. But at the door, I can't stand at the door and say, Mrs. Jones, now, who are you thinking about? and how, if there was a benefit, what would you want them to do with it?
Yeah.
Because then I'm trying to sell at the door.
What's your approach on that, Zach?
It's very similar. It's again, going into this, the mindset. We have to understand our market, and I don't care if it's free or not. If you know the demographic that we serve, and you know their income, you know the way they live, the types of jobs they had, the opportunity, their health, and as a whole, not in any particular client, but as a whole, you understand that if Miss Betty passes away without any coverage, I don't even know her yet, what would happen to their family with somebody with this type of income and this, this many grandkids that live in the house as well? Like, what happens? Like, we have to understand that as an agent. Once you do, you can easily say, I bet the neighbor's in the same situation. The lady down the street's also in the same situation. So it's a mindset shift in you. I don't care if they thought it was free. I don't care what color the card is. I don't care what anything is.
So we're going to back up now. You understand that. Yeah. You've got a concept of that. And you're Zach McElwain, 2023. You walk up to that door. Oh, I thought this was free.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Rogers. These are actually state-regulated final expense programs. They're a little bit different, but I'm going to get your stuff. I'll be right back.
So both of you are... What you're trying to do there, I guess what I'm hearing from both of these guys is they're trying to address it but not answer it.
I can't answer it yet.
So you can't answer it.
You cannot.
So you're trying to address it but buy time but not answer it and then let them give you permission to take the next step.
Create some curiosity to be able to get to the conversation. Yes.
Regardless if they thought it was free or not, they still filled out a request for what? They didn't fill out a request for a gift card. They didn't fill out a request for a new car. They filled out a request because they wanted more information on protecting their family for final expenses or end-of-life planning.
Because they're not saying I didn't fill it out.
No.
They're saying I thought it was free.
And
they're acknowledging that they filled it out.
They're not
That's
saying
a win to me.
That is a win.
Right. They're not saying I don't need coverage. They're not saying I don't love my family. They're not saying any of that.
Right.
They're not saying any of that. So I can't assume when they say I thought it was free means I don't want insurance. I don't need it. I'm already protected. My family's taken care of if I pass away. Like, an agent makes the mistake in assuming all of that is answering yes in that, and it's not. And we say it all the time, in the absence of value, no price is low enough.
Correct.
Right? So what we're doing is we know they've responded. They had curiosity enough to respond to the card, whether it's online, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's a direct mail piece, or it's a warm market referral. It doesn't matter. We know they responded because they were interested and curious.
Correct.
At the door there, we want to maintain that curiosity long enough to start establishing a relationship and a connection to then build value and understand their family dynamic. So the biggest mistake you can make is to answer the question right there in front of them because
you can't answer it.
You cannot answer it. Now,
because if you try to answer it, it's like giving quotes at the door.
Right. Yes, it's the same.
So it's the same as giving quotes at the door. No one's buying that.
If you attempt to answer it, you've already lost.
But you have to address it.
Right. Correct.
Yes. You both addressed it, and you're creating curiosity to be able to take the next step.
Most importantly, I'm reiterating the curiosity that they already had with the piece or the lead that was
I'm sure the reason you filled this out is because there was someone you were thinking about. You wanted to know how maybe this could benefit your family, even if you thought it was free.
Right.
Who was that person?
Right.
Right? So my job is just to get you the information. These work a little bit different. Let me go and grab that, and I'll be right back.
Another thing I've said is, you say, oh, I thought this was true. Well, these are actually not based upon your income. They're based upon your age and your health. So the qualification for these programs are a little bit different. But let me go get your stuff and I'll explain it to you.
That's strong. Yeah.
These are not based on your income.
They're actually based on your age and your health.
And even on the front side of that conversation, here, we need to be clear on all this objection talk. It won't work every time.
Correct.
Right? And everybody needs to know that because I tried that.
We get that in the comments.
The biggest thing is it's not the
I tried that once last week. It failed. I'm out.
Because there's other pieces to this. There's a posture to this.
Oh, man.
And how you're communicating.
It's how you say it.
Posture.
It's how you say the objection. Like, we can
tonality, posture, all of that.
100%.
Here, go ahead. You got a thought.
Yeah. So, and on the phone, I can get to that point. So yes. So what we've done is we've shifted from their smoke screen to addressing there is a need. We can all agree that
they filled it out for some reason.
They filled it out, and now there's a name, and they could use it. That's it. So then once I have that, So now I just need to confirm some information.
Only then can you even begin to build value.
Right.
You're buying time.
Yeah.
You're buying time to build a relationship and learn their
Continue
story.
the conversation.
And solve their problem.
So now I can move through my scripting. I can get to the confirmation. Now I'm going to get you this information. I have you at this address. Boom, boom, boom. But we've agreed that there's somebody they care about. There's a need.
It's like when you're in the middle of a formal presentation, a sales presentation in a business meeting or whatever, or you're moving through a leadership conversation and someone brings up something. That is a fantastic question. I really appreciate that. It's a good one. I'm going to be addressing that in just a few minutes.
Yes.
Let me get this and I'll come back and we'll handle that question for you. They just need to know you're listening, right?
Yeah.
And you address it. So you have to address it, but then you have to get consensus to move forward to take the next step to talk about the value of why this is even happening. Yeah. So for go ahead.
Keep going. I want you to finish your thought, but I just wanted you to know I have something. So
for me, it's like, and Zach, you said this, right? Because you understand the client and you've done your homework and you've done your research and you are prepared and you are an authority because you've moved through that. You have a principled sales process. You understand the market you're serving. Your goal is to look beyond that thing that they're putting up, that smoke screen, and you're trying to see into their life. You're trying to see. You're trying to see into their life. See.
I don't know
about what is really going on.
Right.
And you just need permission to get past that.
You already have it, though.
Yeah, permission. You have it in a form that they filled out.
Yes.
But you have to call attention to that so you can have the conversation about why they really filled it out. And so you have to address it and get permission to move forward.
That is the first step of establishing authority. If you're dealing with that objection, and because we all are expecting somebody to lead us, all of us, but in that specific market, they're especially looking for somebody to lead them.
Correct.
And if, like, it's almost a test for them. Like, can I trust you?
Yeah.
Can I trust you? I thought it was free. Nope. Okay. The next guy.
I thought it was free. I don't have any money.
Shut the door. I thought
my
it was
wife's
free.
not home.
Shut the door.
Yeah.
Then somebody's going to stand at the door and say, I'm guessing you were looking into this because you care about somebody and you just wanted the information. What you do with it's up for you. I'm going to go grab it. I'll be right back. They're like, maybe. Now they're not, but it's part of it. It really is.
And it may be their posture and how they deal with salespeople in general, and that's their conditioned response.
Yes.
Because they're trying to never commit to something that's financial. But the last thing I'll say to this is that, Chris, and you are the one who really developed this in our training, is from the time they fill out that response online and you're having the phone call with them, unless it's a direct call transfer, okay, and that phone call just started and they transferred it to you and you're picking up that phone call live, and there's plenty of those options. But unless it's something different than that, it might have been a pre-qualified callback and you're calling them back the next day. It may have been a form they filled out in the mail and sent back in, and 2 weeks later, you're at their door. Or it might have been a form they filled out in the mail, and a week later or 2 weeks later, they're calling a 1-800 number and giving their information, and an agent's calling them the next day. There's a time gap that took place between the time they actually read that, filled it out, sent it back in, and there was an emotional funny bone. You talked about it. Everyone has this funny bone. There's this emotion that's going on when they filled it out, and now there's separation of time and life that happened between then and now, and that emotion is not up there anymore. That emotion is not front and center for them to acknowledge it.
Correct.
And you're trying to see it and get them to see it, that there was a reason they filled it out, and you're trying to get to that.
Yeah.
So you're not trying to answer it, you're trying to address it. You have another thought, and then we got to wrap.
Yeah, we'll wrap.
You're the moderator, and I'm trying to wrap.
This is what I want people to know. Do you know what the most common response is when I've gone through the process and I've given them, we've gone through the options and we're writing the application? This is what they'll say. I thought it was going to be $100 to $200 a month. That's what they thought, because they saw something on TV.
They thought it was unaffordable.
They thought it was unaffordable.
And so they went to the extreme opposite and said, I thought it was free.
Yeah, that was the most common. And when I started getting it, I was surprised because I was writing applications that were $60 to $80 a month. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a thing.
Yeah. So hope this was helpful. We'd love to hear your questions and comments below. Again, we have courses that cover this stuff. We have a weekly Hey, there you are. We have weekly coaching calls. We would love for you to be a part of, and we can break down some of these scenarios and make a difference in your community. Share what we do if you see value in it. But thank you guys. Go out, write some applications, be a difference maker. We'll see you on the next Life Insurance Academy podcast. Thanks.